And in parts of Southern California, strong storms dumped nearly an inch of rain within a few hours. Entire neighborhoods were swamped in Temple City. Officials say the water was knee-deep in areas. But the water is expected to recede today as the storms move on.
And today, federal investigators are heading to Jacksonville, Florida, to look into the sinking of the cargo ship El Faro. The NTSB will lead a separate investigation from the U.S. Coast Guard's operation, which is already underway. 33 sailors, including 28 Americans, went missing Thursday. Mark Strassman is in Jacksonville with the latest.
The Coast Guard found this heavily damaged lifeboat, believed to be from the El Faro. It was designed to hold 43 people, but no one was aboard.
They would have been abandoning ship into a Category 4 hurricane.
Nothing on radar.
All that remains of the cargo ship is wood, containers, life rafts, and other pieces from the doomed ship. Still, searchers hold out hope for survivors.
We're not going to discount somebody's will to survive, and that's why we're still searching today.
Among the 28 missing Americans, 53-year-old Captain Michael Davidson, crew members Danielle Randolph, Dylan Mecklin, Jeremy Ream, Stephen Schultz, and Frank Ham. Destiny Sparrow is Ham's daughter.
If they knew that the storm was coming, why still send them out? That makes no sense.
A distress call last Thursday morning from the crew said the ship's engine had died. The boat was also listing, leaning 15 degrees and taking on water. Hurricane Joaquin was almost a Category 4 then, with waves up to 50 feet and winds of 140 miles per hour.
We put tremendous trust in our captains and our crews and all our employees, whether they're at land, on land, or at sea. But in the end, the responsibility comes to me.
Crews are now searching 2 separate debris fields. Combined, they're roughly the size of the city of Los Angeles. One is near the ship's last known location. The other is 60 miles north of that. And each day brings new challenges.
The search for survivors is north of the ship's last known position.
Every day that it goes on, that debris field will grow and grow and grow because the current's quite strong.
Despite daunting odds, families of crew members like 32-year-old Sean Rivera say they were well trained to survive.
If there was any life in him, he's fighting to continue to live. I believe that.
Mark Strassman joins us now from Jacksonville. Mark, so far rescue crews have found one dead body. They're continuing to search. How hopeful is this rescue mission?
The short answer is not very. I mean, there was essentially a 5-day survivor window for anybody who was in those waters. We're now into day 6, and we've heard that the Coast Guard, which briefs the families of crew members a couple times a day, essentially told them this morning that, look, they're going to keep searching, but they're not optimistic at this point. It's been a long time. Anybody who got off that boat, assuming anybody did get off that boat, got off into a Category 4 hurricane with 130, 140 mile an hour winds and 50-foot waves, and anybody who didn't is on that boat, and so which is 3 miles underwater. So none of that sounds very promising. And there was a reality check, I think, on the part of the Coast Guard today, telling families, look, we're trying our hardest, but we're searching an area, a couple of different debris fields that's greater than the size of the city of Los Angeles. And at that point, it gets very, very difficult. And the reality is that it's now been we're into our sixth day since the ship went down, and it is what it is.
So that's the search for survivors, but the NTSB is also heading down there to investigate. But I can't imagine how difficult this investigation would be. Like you mentioned, you have these 2 debris fields. I presume they are ever changing, as dynamic as the ocean is. It's got to be a challenge.
Very good points. Yeah, and think about something else. You got the ship, which has most of the evidence, which is 3 miles underwater. I mean, it's not going to be. It may be impossible to get to that. So what are these investigators going to do? And there are going to be 2 separate investigations. You got the NTSB and you got the Coast Guard. And they're going to go over the ship's logs, the maintenance records, any ship-to-shore communications that are available. But what went wrong with the engine? And when did it go wrong? The engine's underwater, 3 feet underwater. It may be very, very difficult to piece together exactly what happened and what the decision making was and what the thought process was as the captain thought he could beat the storm as he left Jacksonville heading for San Juan, and clearly something went tragically wrong, terribly wrong, and now it's just a question of piecing together what happened, if it's possible to piece together what happened.
Yeah, Mark Strassman in Jacksonville, Florida. Thank you so much, Mark.